I'm a dreamer. I dream of a world where men can wear exotic outfits and not be judged. I dream of a world where I can get wet, slippery, and semi-nude with thousands of strangers. And it's that dream that had gripped me since I was about 24. I'd done it on a small scale, and people loved it. But now I wanted to go big. Really, really big. I wanted to build the world's biggest water slide. But, as sometimes happens, my dream got put on the big pile of unrealistic ideas, and I sat on it for 7 years. That wasn't until last August, when I was finally in a place in my life that I was happy with. But I needed an adventure, and the water slide was going to be it. There were some minor obstacles, though. I had no land. I had no money. And I had no idea how to build a water slide that big. So I turned to some different experts in different fields to see if this was even possible. Apparently, it's not. I would need land, materials, media partners, staffing, event setup, hydrodynamicists, construction experts, health and safety, council permits, parking, all up about $100,000 worth of stuff. And don't let my stylish ensemble fool you. I don't have $100K sitting in my back pocket. Everyone told me that I couldn't do it. And they were right. I couldn't do it. But we could. And so I did the only thing that I could think of that would make this possible. And I asked for help. And I turned to the classic help device of Facebook and updated my status. Does anyone have a piece of land where I can build the world's biggest water slide on? An hour later, 5 offers of land. So I went up to the first one, and it was actually perfect. The landowner was amazing and said we could build the water slide. So I went home, and I drew this picture. I needed to share my idea with the world, and shared it was. Again and again and again, 332 times on Facebook. People were ready to come. People were ready to buy tickets to my picture that I had just drawn on Photoshop. So now I had to figure out how to build a slide. So again, I asked for help. And it came in the form of my friend Fleur's brother, Scott, a man with a digger. So a day later, we're up on the side of the hill, and he's asking me questions. Jimmy, how deep would you like the slide? How much turn can we put in it so people don't go flying out the side? This much? What do we do when we get to the fence? We go under it. So then we got a water and drainage expert to come and give us some advice, and he said that this project was impossible and that he would not put his name anywhere near a project like this. So I was standing there on the side of the hill, and this quote that I really liked started bouncing through my head. Bite off more than you can chew, and then chew like hell. And man, did I have a lot to chew on. To pay for it, we needed to sell tickets. We needed people to show up. So I asked for help again. And I sent out some lovely emails to some lovely people, and they responded. Magazines, TV shows, radio shows, newspapers. And these guys even gave me my very own billboard in downtown Auckland. And it worked. We sold out all 2,400 tickets, and we still had 5 days left to go. Construction had just finished, and it was time to test it. The world's biggest water slide stood at 320 meters. We had built one that was 650 meters long. I went up to the top of the slide and we turned on the pumps and put down as much water as we possibly could. This was my dream coming true. I pushed off and I slid. Ah! I had traveled a grand total of 200 meters. This wave of just horrible feeling had come over me, and I was going to let down the thousands of people that bought tickets and the hundreds of thousands of people around the world that were waiting to see this happen. I was sitting in the bottom of the slide, 120 meters from the world record, and hundreds of meters from what I had promised people. And I cried. You know, not big sobby sissy tears, but just some little manly ones. But instead of my dream coming true, this had turned into one of the worst days in my life. And so I went home, and I had given up. That was until my girlfriend said to me, "The only thing that you can do is ask for help." And so I did. And to their eternal credit, people came from all over. And in 2 days, we redug and relaid over a third of the slide. And most importantly, a water slide expert came. It was a dude that owned a company that made water slides, made slip and slides. But he had a great piece of advice. And that piece of advice was, you're using too much water. The more water you use, the more there is to get in your way and the slower you go. So, armed with that piece of advice and the fact that we'd redug a third of the slide, it was time to test it again. So I went back up to the top and pushed off. And I slid fast. Went down the straight, over the drop, past the 200-meter mark that I'd got stuck at last time. Then I slid past the 320-meter world record. Yahoo! When I finally came to a stop, I was 552 meters from where I had started. The happiest man in the world. My dream had come true. I had built the world's biggest water slide. 2 days later, we opened it up to the public, and everything that we'd promised people had come true. This girl is about to hit about 70k an hour going down the big drop. This guy here is having the time of his life. And this guy here, I'm not sure if he's having the time of his life or he is completely terrified. Here's the thing. I say I built the world's biggest water slide, and I did. But to say it like that is a complete disservice to my business partner, Dan, Aaron, the farm owner, and the hundreds of volunteers, friends, and strangers that turned up to help make my dream come true. I've just told you a story that simply would never have happened had I not asked everyone I know, and a bunch of people that I didn't, for help. And that's the strange thing, is that asking people for help is actually the thing that I find absolutely hardest in this world. I have this innate feeling that I can do everything and anything myself. I don't need anyone's help. That's not the reason that I got sick, but it's one of the reasons that I stayed sick for so long. I seem like quite a lively individual now, but a couple of years ago I wasn't really very happy. I couldn't really leave the house. I didn't want to hang out with my friends. I found it very hard to do any work, which in turn made me broke, almost bankrupt. I was getting fat. I was 92% of the way through destroying my marriage. And I was sad and scared. I had depression, and it was ruining my life. I felt completely alone. have a feeling depression, to me, is just like wearing this really heavy lead vest that you can't take off. Overall feeling of weight and hopelessness. And although I felt like the only person in the world with depression, that's obviously not the truth. The World Health Organization says that 2% of the world will suffer from depression in their lifetime. 7% of Americans and 20% of New Zealanders. 20%. I was simply just another person adding to those horrible statistics. The turning point in my life was a simple decision that took me from being a dreamer to being a doer. I decided that I needed to go on an adventure that would make me happy and get me fit. And as you can probably tell, I'm not really a conventional kind of guy. So I didn't pick, hey, let's run a marathon. I decided that I was going to take my $8 lilo and swim the entire length of the Waikato River, 425 kilometers from Taupo to Port Waikato. And then I realized that since I was able to ask a lot of people for help in regards to an adventure, that it would be okay if I asked for help in regards to my depression. And when I did, I found this amazing psychologist, and he gave me all the tools that I needed to take off that lead vest. Just like that. Then, a story about me got picked up by a current affairs show. TV program came out, and I was just terrified. People don't like people with depression. People would think that I'm crazy. And in the aftermath of all the emails, texts, and phone calls, not one person had anything but love and support. I didn't lose one friend, didn't lose one piece of business, two things that I was completely terrified of. Why? Because people are inherently good and want to help each other out. Just dwell on that for a second. People are inherently good and want to help each other out. When I finished the Lilo adventure, I got back and I felt like I needed to do more. So, with my friend Dan, we started a charity called Live More Awesome. We help people with depression. The waterslide was a fundraiser for our charity, but more than that, it got people outside in the sun. It gave them a goal, something to look forward to. It got them involved in an amazing and supportive community, and most importantly, it gave them a whole bunch of yahoos. What's amazing is that helping people is one of life's true win-win situations. Not only does the person who needs the help get it, but you get that amazing feeling of making someone's life just that little bit better. I used to think that I could do everything and anything myself, that I was a lone wolf on a straight path towards my goals. But the truth is, your goals might be other people's goals too. Hundreds of people helped me make my goal come true. But in return, I helped hundreds of people achieve a goal and a dream that they can tell their grandkids about. The message is pretty simple, really. You are not alone in this world. We're a team. So start acting like it. Ask for help.